Good afternoon to everyone who is joining us from different parts of the world. My name is Margaret Moberg, and I am the Education USA Education USA advisor in San Jose, Costa Rica. But I know that we have other people from other parts of North America, Central America, South America, and maybe even from other parts of the world. Today is the second day of TOEFL preparation bootcamp. Yesterday, we had day one, which Sorani focused on the layout and the format of the TOEFL IBT, what's the difference with the home essentials, what you need to know to take it at home if you wanted to take the home edition. So I recommend, if you weren't with us yesterday, to please go to Education USA Costa Rica on Facebook, our Facebook page, to watch day one recording. And in day one recording, we explained in a lot of detail what Education USA is. For most of you who have joined, you know that we are an educational advising program located around the world to help you apply to universities in the United States, and our basic services are free. We are not a scholarship program, but rather educational advising program that supports you in all of the different steps to applying to institutions in the US. Having an advanced level of English is super important if you want to start an academic program, which is why we're having this TOEFL bootcamp, because we hope that you guys can get some impressive scores on the test and help your chances at getting into your dream institutions. And then just briefly, we help you from step 0, which for me is understanding the process, and then to looking for institutions, understanding how to finance your studies, the actual application part of it, which is standard exams, essays, documents, how to ask for your visa. And then before you go, we help you with a pre-departure orientation about the cultural differences, health insurance, everything that you're about to encounter. So it's my pleasure to reintroduce my good friend Sorani Marin, who's the Associate Director of TOEFL and GRE Client Relations for Costa Rica, Colombia, Honduras, Mexico, Panama, y Cuba. She's also a psychologist and a master in education and diversity, and she's a super dynamic presenter. And for those of you who were with us yesterday, you know that she keeps things interesting. Today, she's going to explain the listening part of the TOEFL, and she's even going to show you some examples and ask for some volunteers from the audience to answer for us. So make sure you're paying attention if you'd like to answer. And just finally, I wanted to remind you that we are going to raffle a free TOEFL practice, which I believe is called an ATP, among the people who participate in all 4 sessions on Zoom. So that's incentive for you to participate, because after today, we have 2 more sessions next Wednesday and Thursday at the same time. So here you go, Sorani. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Margaret. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, let me share my screen first. Listening. Okay, so this is the second part. This is the easiest section of TOEFL IBT. Okay, listening. So when we think about, like this section of the exam, we have to keep in mind that it is mandatory. It is not an option. It is mandatory to take notes. Okay, you have to take notes. Sorani, my level of English, I am a C1, a C2. I perfectly understand conversations and lectures. So I don't really need to take notes. Please, it is mandatory. You have to take notes, because the conversations in here, okay, and lectures, they are longer than usual. Okay, they are not complicated. They are not complicated at all. But if you know how to take notes, because sometimes, they are, as I said before, they are longer than usual. So there's too much information. They're not too much. Okay, but in a 3-minute, 5-minute lecture, like you're gonna find like many details in there. So you definitely have to take notes. Okay, that's mandatory. It's not an option, because I want you to get at least 115 in your TOEFL IBT. Okay, so you can apply for all those scholarships, that opportunities that Education USA offers. And remember that all the universities, 100% of the universities in the United States, they accept TOEFL IBT. Okay, so that's the idea, and that's the main purpose of these boot camps. Listening. Okay, Okay, so these are the listening purposes. I was thinking about something, but I'm going to share this information later. Okay, listening purposes in academic settings. So this is what we have: basic comprehension, pragmatic understanding, connect and synthesize information. You're going to understand a little bit more about this pragmatic understanding in a minute. Remember that yesterday I was telling you that all the content of TOEFL IBT is academic. Okay, it is academic. So all the conversations and lectures, right? Everything you find in there is going to have like, you know, like an academic a focus. So the discussions are going to be between, you know, like professor and a student and librarian, a student and registrar. Even those service encounters are going to be academic. Okay, the lectures can be a monologue or can be interactive. Okay, so again, and I'm going to repeat this at least 15 times today. Okay, taking notes is mandatory. You have to take notes. Okay, and you have to know how to take notes. All right, and I'm going to show you how in a minute. Okay, so this is what you're going to find in this part of the exam: academic lectures. Okay, you're going to find from 3 to 4 lectures, some with classroom discussion, approximately 5 minutes long. As I told you before, they are longer than usual. It doesn't mean that they are more complicated, that they are more difficult. Not at all. Okay, if you know how to take notes, you're not going to have any problem. Okay, and each lecture followed by 6 questions. For the informal campus conversations, you're going to find between 2 to 3 conversations, approximately 3 minutes long, each conversation followed by 5 questions. Sorani, it depends on what? The fact of having 3 or 4 lectures or 2 or 3 conversations. Simple. Remember what I told you yesterday with the 3 to 4 passages, reading passages in the reading section? It depends on the date of the administration. Sometimes the administration, I mean, the administrators of the exam, they just decide, okay, today we're going to pilot this lecture, today we're going to pilot this conversation, so we're going to add it to this exam, to this administration, to see if we can use it in a future exam. So to see if it is too complicated, if it is too advanced, because that is not the purpose of this exam. Remember, I told you yesterday that this is not basic, but this is not advanced. Okay, it is intermediate. That's the level of the conversations and the lectures in TOEFL IBT. So they need to, you know, to evaluate to see if those lectures or those passages or those conversations are appropriate, okay, for you guys to get the score you need. Okay, so this is the content of the listening section. These are the questions, and this is my opinion. I think different from what we saw yesterday. I think I would dare to say that all of you are going to be familiar with these types of questions, okay? Remember that yesterday we were talking about, in the reading section, we were talking about the sentence simplification, we were talking about classifying, categorizing, and organizing information questions. So those questions that in the reading section are not, they are not really like difficult if you're familiar with them, right? But are different. Like you would say, Sorani, that type of question in the reading section, I have never got one of those questions in any quiz, any exam, okay, in my academic life. And that could be true, right? But in the case of the questions that you're going to find in the listening section of the exam, it is different. It is different. I'm sure you're familiar with all of them. Look at this one. I'm going over the related learning objective, which is the one that I find like more interesting. Understand the topic of the lecture. So this is the question. What is the talk about? Main idea, right? So that is the first thing that generally, I mean, you have got like this question, you know, more than 100 times, okay, in any quiz, in any exam. Krista has a question. I can interrupt. Let's see if she can.
No, I'm sorry. This is a mistake. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, but I'm very glad to hear your voice, Krista. It's okay. Okay, so Krista, you're gonna be the first participating, the first person participating at the end of this session, because I know you're very willing to do it. Okay, I'm kidding. Please don't escape. Okay, so what is the talk about? Here we have 4 options. Okay, Type 2, why does the student visit the professor? Details, just details. So here we have option A, B, C, and D. So this is recognize the speaker's overall purpose, okay? This is type 2. Type 3, identify the important details of a lecture. According to the professor, what is one important result of using AHP, right? Details, right? Then we have type number 4, recognize the purpose behind the speaker's statement and how word stress and intonation help convey this purpose. Okay, so this is the sample question. What does the professor mean when he says this? And look at how friendly TOEFL IBT is. The text will only be heard, which is easier, and this is what you need. You need to listen again to that specific part of the conversation in order to answer correctly, you know, like this question, right? So here I have the, you know, the text, because this is my PowerPoint presentation, but in the official exam, you will only hear that part of the conversation. Now we have recognize the speaker's degree of certainty and how word stress and intonation help convey meaning. This is the sample question. What does the woman mean when she says this? All of Europe, so this will only be heard as well. There we have the 4 options. Then we have recognize when a speaker is shifting from the general to the specific. Why does the professor mention the expansion of the railroad in the 19th century? Okay, there we have option A, B, C, and D. Type number 7, connect pieces of information and use implied information to draw a conclusion. According to the professor, what does the Hopi House demonstrate? Option A, B, C, and D. And finally, this is type 8. Okay, use language, stress, and intonation to determine a speaker's attitude and degree of certainty and to make an inference based on this assessment. Okay, so here you're gonna listen to 2 different replays, speaker 1, speaker 2. Okay, so you're gonna listen to them. And this is great, again, because you're gonna have the chance to, you know, like to remember like what the specific context of that part of the conversation was, right? What can be inferred about the students? And there you have the 4 options. So these are the 8 types of questions. It doesn't mean that you're gonna get 8 questions per conversation. Remember that in the case of lectures, okay, you're gonna get out of these 8, you're gonna get 6 questions, okay? And in the case of the conversations, these are the lectures, conversations, you're gonna get 5, okay? So that's important. And this is different from what we had yesterday in the reading section, okay? Okay, now, before working on this, let me share my screen. I want to share something with you. Hold on, give me 1 minute. Let me look for the, yes, it is here. There we go. Okay, so I was talking at the beginning. I told you I was going to insist on this taking notes habit, okay? Here we go, okay. So, chicos, when you, I'm sure before taking TOEFL IBT, I'm sure you are going to take a TOEFL prep course, okay? The TOEFL prep course is going to give you all the confidence you need to face this type of exam. Not because the exam is complicated. It is because of what it means, like taking TOEFL IBT. When you make the decision of taking this type of exam, is because, I mean, indeed, there is like a huge dream, academic dream, right? In the middle of this situation, right? You want to take it because you want to apply for this or that scholarship or for this or that program. And this is going to definitely be absolutely beneficial for my academic life, but also for my personal life, because I'm going to get like a better job. I'm going to have like more opportunities. So your family is involved in that situation of having you taking this exam as well. So it is, you know, like a whole world of positive things. All right. So that's why I am insisting a lot on, you know, like before taking TOEFL IBT, be very responsible and take a TOEFL prep course. This is going to give you the confidence to get the score you need. This is going to give you like all the possible tools to feel, you know, like not to feel like that, you know, like that anxiety, those nerves that you may feel like when you're taking this type of exam. Okay, so one of the things, one of the aspects that the facilitator of a TOEFL prep course is going to teach you guys is, you know, like note taking, right? He's going or she's going to teach you how to take notes, because many candidates, many students, they think that taking notes is just, you know, like, let's say I'm the teacher. So I play a conversation. I ask my students to take notes. And then my students go like, okay, teacher, stop. Let me finish working on this sentence. Okay, 2 minutes. Okay, please continue. Yes, okay, 3, 4, 5, 7 seconds, right? Okay, stop, teacher, stop. This is not taking notes, okay? In that case, you would be working on something like a transcript, right? And that's not the idea, especially because in this type of exam, you're not gonna have the chance to, I mean, you're gonna be timed. So you're not gonna have the, you know, the time, you're not gonna be able to ask anyone to stop, right? So he or she can wait for you, so you can write like the complete sentence. That's not gonna happen, chicos, okay? That's not gonna happen. So the idea is to have like different methods on note taking. So here I have 4 methods, okay? These methods, I think they mainly mostly depend on the nature of the task, and also on your learning style, okay? Some of you, I'm gonna give you an example. I am very visual, right? So I do like a lot the keyword method, okay? This is something I just, you know, I feel comfortable with taking notes like in this way. So here we have, you can take pictures of this slide because this information is important, okay? And you can practice at home. So the keyword method, this is here you have the description. Write down single words or phrases focusing on technical terms, names, and numbers, okay? So you just categorize the words, just the words. And that's gonna give you, in my case, that gives me like an idea about the order, about the organization of my thoughts. Okay, that's why it is like my favorite one. So here we have advantages and disadvantages. Advantages can help you remember other parts of the lecture and can evoke images and associations with other words, right? Disadvantage may be difficult to remember enough of the content related to the keywords when reviewing. I have a pretty good memory, so that's why I think I identify myself with this method. When to use: when the student has beginning level listening skills, when the speaker talks quickly, when you're quite familiar with the material, when you prefer to take more time after the lecture to write out a longer summary for review, okay? So this is just one. In our website, I wanna give you today, again, the link for you to download, because there is a PDF. It is a wonderful PDF in there for you to study at home. And you're going to find some materials to practice, to study, to prepare for the exam. And you're going to find some information about note taking and some activities, okay, to use these methods. Then we have the charting method. This is the description. Determine the steps or categories to be covered in the lecture. Prepare note-taking paper in advance by creating a table. Do this by drawing columns or rows and labeling appropriate column or row headings based on the categories or steps that will be covered in the lecture. As you listen to the lecture, record important information, words, phrases, main ideas, etc., in the appropriate step or category. So as you can see in these 2 methods, they are inviting you just to use words, single words. Here we're talking about a chart, okay? Advantages reduces the amount of writing necessary, which is key, okay, in this type of exam. It makes it easy to review facts and compare categories. That's important in the case of a conversation, for example, and I'm going to show you something in a minute. Disadvantage is difficult to learn how to use, but you know, you have to practice and practice and practice. Difficult to locate the appropriate categories, could be, but if you practice, I'm sure you're going to be able to do it. And when to use, when the lecture presents information in steps or categories, when you want to reduce the amount of time spent editing and reviewing your notes, okay? So here we have like some of the cases in which you can use the charting method. Then we have the outlining method. Okay, so here we have the description. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can take a picture of this slide. So I'm gonna read just like the most relevant points for me. Okay, place major points farthest to the left. Okay, I want to show you the map, like the structure of this method. Indent each more specific point to the right. Indentation can be as simple as or as complex as labeling the indentations with Roman numerals or decimals. This is complicated for me, but this is, again, this is based on my on my learning style. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Look at this. Look at this outlining method. Some people love it. Have a couple of friends who definitely identify with this type of note-taking method. Okay, major point, and look, they just play with the location of the information. Okay, major point, supporting detail, So it's not complicated, but I do prefer the charting method and the first one, the keyword method. And this is the last one, the Cornell method. Many experts, they say that here, I mean, that this method doesn't have like any disadvantages. Like this is the perfect method to take notes. So this is the description. It's a loose, and I'm gonna read it all because again, they say there are no disadvantages in this method. Use a loose leaf 3-ring binder with large sheets of paper. Avoid using a very small notepad. Draw a line down the left side of the notebook paper, leaving a large area on the right in which to make notes. During class, take down information in the 6-inch area. If the instructor moves to a new point before you're finished writing, skip a few lines. After class, complete phrases and sentences as much as possible. For every significant bit of information, write a word cue or summary word in the left margin. To review, cover your notes with a card, leaving the cues exposed. Oh my God. Say the cue aloud. Then say as much as you can about the material underneath the card without looking at it. When you have said as much as you can remember, move the card and see if what you said matches what is written. Okay, this is a wonderful, wonderful exercise. If you can say it, you can learn it, period. Okay, as you can see, there are no disadvantages. But again, here I have like 4 methods. I'm presenting just, sharing with you 4 methods. There are more note-taking methods, and you're going to find them online. But the idea is to practice, because again, my guess is that, many candidates or, like students, they think they confuse taking notes with, just rewriting something. Okay, that's not the idea. Okay, so that was about note taking. Okay, now I'm gonna share sound. If you're in a noisy place, please go to, I don't know, the restroom somewhere else, because you're gonna have to participate, and I need you to raise your hands. Okay, so now I'm gonna share with you, this is a conversation that was used in a past exam a couple of years ago, but I want you to know that these are the type of conversations that you are going to find in the official TOEFL IBT. So you're going to see that, of course, the level it is not basic, okay, but you're going to see that it is not advanced either, okay? It is intermediate. What you're going to experience now is a conversation that is, again, longer than usual. But as you're going to take notes, please get ready to take notes. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Piece of paper, okay? Don't trust your memory. Don't trust your memory. You're gonna see why, okay? Okay, 10. So get ready to take notes. So listen to the conversation, okay? One, did I share sound? Yes, I showed the sound. Now.
Listen to part of a conversation in a library.
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking for a reference book.
Okay. Do you know the title?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking for. I need information on European demographics.
Okay. Do you just need population statistics like total population, male, female, real basics for demographics?
Yeah, population, literacy rate, let's see, life expectancy by gender, like if women tend to live longer than men, things like that.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure you get most, if not all, of those statistics from an atlas. I can tell you where to find one in the reference section.
Yeah, but I'm kind of looking for it by city, not by country in the atlas I saw.
Uh-huh. I see.
Well, do you know if there are any other reference books I can use for this to find the statistics by city?
City, you say. Any particular part of Europe? Eastern, Western, Southern?
No, pretty much all across Europe.
All of Europe. You know, maybe you could tell me what this is for. I mean, maybe if I know, I can help you better.
Yeah, okay. Geography with Professor Miller, and it's sort of an analysis of urban areas, a comparison of population trends and economic indicators, social indicators, I guess.
Okay, well, there's something called the demographic yearbook, but I don't think it's going to do it by city.
Yeah, I think that's just by country.
You've already looked at it? I think you're right, but I'm just going to check it first because it would be easy if it were there. Yeah, population by country. Okay, let's see. Did your professor give you any ideas on where to look? I mean, because if you need the demographic information by city...
No, she didn't. She just gave us the assignment, and I figured I could find what I needed here without too much of a problem.
Yeah, it should be easier than this. I mean, I know there's one for North American cities, but I don't think that'll be a big help.
Nah.
Tell you what, let's go over to the reference section. Let's take a look around that area and see if anything looks promising.
Okay. Okay. So now, because I'm friendly, because I'm nice, okay, and because I want you to participate, okay, I'm gonna play this conversation again because I know it is long. In the official exam, you won't have the chance to, to listen to it again. But I really want you to participate, okay? And I need you to, to check the information that probably you missed, okay? So I'm gonna play it for the last time. Please take notes, okay? Now.
Listen to part of a conversation in a library.
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking for a reference book.
Okay. Do you know the title?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking for. I need information on European demographics.
Okay. Do you just need population statistics like total population, male, female, real basics for demographics?
Yeah, population, literacy rate, let's see, life expectancy by gender, like if women tend to live longer than men, things like that.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure you get most, if not all, of those statistics from an atlas. I can tell you where to find one in the reference section.
Yeah, but I'm kind of looking for it by city, not by country in the atlas I saw.
Uh-huh, I see.
Well, do you know if there are any other reference books I can use for this to find the statistics by city?
City, you say. Any particular part of Europe? Eastern, Western, Southern?
No, pretty much all across Europe.
All of Europe. You know, maybe you could tell me what this is for. I mean, maybe if I know, I can help you better.
Yeah, okay. Geography with Professor Miller, and it's sort of an analysis of urban areas, a comparison of population trends and economic indicators, social indicators, I guess.
Okay, well, there's something called the demographic yearbook, but I don't think it's going to do it by city.
Yeah, I think that's just by country.
You've already looked at it? I think you're right, but I'm just going to check it first because it would be easy if it were there. Yeah, population by country. Okay, let's see. Did your professor give you any ideas on where to look? I mean, because if you need the demographic information by city,
No, she didn't. She just gave us the assignment, and I figured I could find what I needed here without too much of a problem.
yeah, it should be easier than this. I mean, I know there's one for North American cities, but I don't think that'll be a big help.
Nah.
Tell you what, let's go over to the reference section. Let's take a look around that area and see if anything looks promising.
Ready. Okay. So now you have all the information there. You're going to see that this is simple. My questions are very simple. You will see it. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me look for my questions here. In fact, I'm going to be nice and I'm going to share the questions with you. Okay. Okay, so remember you can raise your hand, okay? And Margaret is going to give you like the possibility to participate, okay? So question number one, simple question, but I need you to speak, I need you to talk, okay? Who is the student talking to? Opa, yes. Okay. Margaret, you can choose the person who's going to participate.
Okay, I just gave Laura Jimenez the ability to unmute herself. So Laura, if you want to accept it and answer, you can do that.
Okay, the student is talking with the librarian.
Excellent, Laura. And that's exactly the kind of response that I need. Laura, thank you very much. Complete. Yes, I was expecting for something like the librarian, to the librarian. No, 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 complete and beautiful and sexy answer. Okay, excellent. Very good, Laura. Okay, next. Okay, what does he want? Question number two, what does he want?
What does he want? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let Kevin. Kevin, I gave you the ability to talk.
He wants a book about European demographics, focus on country, social and economic indicators.
Excellent, absolutely complete. Kevin, you're gonna get 120 in that TOEFL IBT. Beautiful, that's the complete answer. Excellent. Okay, next, thank you, Kevin. What did she tell him? What did the librarian tell him?
Okay, let's hear from Pablo, giving you the ability to talk.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So actually, I think the student was asking for cities, by cities, not by countries, right?
Yeah, that was something that he corrected at the end, like in the middle of the conversation.
Yeah, and what did she tell him? That she didn't has a book of European demographic about each city, only about the countries. She had one, but cities of all North America, but not a big city of all Europe.
Beautiful. That was very complete. That was very complete. Excellent. Okay. Next, what does he do next? What does he do next?
Eric, you have the ability to talk. Just gave you the ability to talk.
Okay. She tells him that let's go to the reference section. So if we can, so she can take a look there.
Yes, and find out, like more information. And the librarian needs like additional information, like something more specific to know, to give him like what he's asking for, right? Okay, excellent, beautiful. Okay, for the next question, that is, what is the student's purpose for talking to the librarian? Okay, so we already know what it is, right? We already know what it is. But this is the next question. Describe the attitude of the student. What clues are in the conversation to help you do this? Pay attention to the question. Describe the attitude of the student and what clues are in the conversation to help you do this. So to help you a little bit with this answer, look at this chart. Okay, look, they are asking about the attitude. So here we have a couple of words, first column for attitude, to describe attitude. So you can choose one of these ones and then explain, answer the second part of the question, which is what clues are in the conversation to help you do this? Who's gonna answer?
Let's hear from Florencia.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Absolutely, and you can see it. Describe the attitude of the student and what clues are in the conversation to help you do this. What is the attitude of the student? Like at the very beginning of the conversation. And here we have some words. So you can say, Sorani was frustrated because of this and because of that, or he was impatient, and explain a little bit.
I could say he was frustrated and worried because, like you said at the end, the teacher really didn't give any information on how to research what they were asking for. So he was frustrated because he was uncertain, not very sure about what he wanted or how to get the information. He was determined.
Excellent. Great job, Florencia. Good answer. Yeah, he was frustrated. And something interesting about this type of question, chicos, is that in the conversation, he never says, hey, I am frustrated. No, he doesn't say that. He doesn't express it. He just, like through the questions that he asks and trying to explain the librarian, what he needs and with what he has, what the teacher gave him, we can feel there is frustration in there. Okay, excellent job, Florencia. What about the librarian? Describe the attitude of the librarian and what clues are in the conversation to help you do this. Here we have the words.
We're going to hear from Sophia.
I think that the librarian was really understanding the position of, trying to understand the position of the student, because she even asked for more information to try to help him. And yeah, I think that mainly that.
Exacto, Sophia. Yeah, and you saw that the librarian was, like giving him, like additional ideas, additional information to see how she could help. So that's basically her attitude, like understanding, right? Excellent. Okay. Then this question, does the attitude of either speaker change during the conversation?
Let's hear from Glenn.
Okay, I will say as appear in the audio. Nah.
Can you repeat that?
Nah.
Okay, and what does it mean?
I mean, that means that she never changed her attitude. And in the part of the audio, when the library asked him about who is her professor, and if the professor says if the professor give their reference, and they say nah.
Okay, so that's why you think that the attitude of either speaker, like it didn't change, right, during the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, who has a different option? Thank you very much. Thank you. Who has a different option? I'm not saying this is incorrect. I'm just asking you, like, if probably you perceived something different, etc.
Let's hear from Daniela.
Well, I think that the attitude of both speakers changes during the conversation, as I think they both get a little bit more concerned as the conversation goes on because they cannot find the book that the person's looking for.
Yes, and right at the end, do you remember what happened at the end? What was like the solution? Same person.
I don't know. I think they were going to look at the reference section again to see if they could find something.
Yes, excellent. Okay, great. Okay, good. And finally, describe the degree of certainty of the librarian. What clues are in the conversation to help you do this? So here we have some words here, right in the middle of the chart, to describe a degree of certainty. Sure, uncertain, not very sure, certain, somewhat quite sure, certain, very sure, certain. Yeah. So I repeat the question. Describe the degree of certainty of the librarian. That's the last question.
Let's hear from Eric. Hi,
sorry?
Eric.
Okay. What is the question?
Yes, describe, this is the last one, right? Describe the degree of certainty of the librarian. And here we have some words to describe the degree of certainty of the librarian.
Well, she's not very confident about having a book that to get the results by city in Europe. She's very certain about the results by city in the US, but she knows that's not going to help this guy. So, but about the degree for certainty about the request that the guy is doing, she's not very sure.
Okay, Eric, thank you very much. And thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot for your participation. Okay, I'm taking notes. You know, I have your names in here, people who are participating. Okay, okay. So now, hold on here. Okay, here we go. I think it's this one. No, it's not this one. No, this is not what I want to show you. Hold on. Okay, yes. Okay. So that was an example. Thank you, Margaret, and thank you, everybody. That was an example of a real conversation. Again, that conversation was used a couple of years ago in one of the exams. I have a couple of, like more sample exercises, sample conversations, and you are going to find, let me see if I can share this information. No, this is not what I want. Yes, I'm going to share the link that I shared yesterday with you guys for you to get, to have access to materials. Most of those materials are for free, okay? And there you're going to find additional conversations and lectures for you to practice. Now, again, talking about note-taking, here I have some recommendations. Okay, remember that if you're going to take a TOEFL IBT at home, these are the only two possibilities for you to take notes. You can use a small whiteboard with an erasable marker or a transparent sheet protector with an erasable marker, okay? Now, if you're gonna take the exam at a TOEFL site, right there, you're gonna be provided with scratch paper, okay? And if you need more, you're gonna have just to raise your hand and ask for more, but you're gonna be able to take notes from the very beginning till the end of the exam, okay? These are some strategies that can help, okay? With the scratch paper, if you're taking the exam at home, at a TOEFL site, if you fold the scratch paper, you're gonna have more space to take notes, okay? That's for sure. You're not gonna need, if you have more space to take notes, you're not gonna be like interrupting yourself, asking a staff member for additional scratch paper, right? As this can waste your time or can even make you miss important information. I used to be a test center administrator, and trust me, that happens. Like in the middle of a conversation, you're focused on all the information that is being shared in there, and then you run out of paper, you raise your hand, and while you raise your hand and ask for additional scratch paper, you're gonna miss important information. So you need to be absolutely, focused, concentrated on the conversations and lectures. And also, well, you're gonna have the possibility to use both sides of your paper. This is something like a simple charting method. Okay, make sure you understand your own handwriting, because remember that when you're taking notes and you're nervous and you're anxious, you know, anxiety is there, your handwriting becomes like loca, right? Becomes like, okay, now what did I do? I can't read what I just wrote. That happens, okay? So make sure you understand your own handwriting. This chart that you see here, this is extremely simple. This is going to help you organize the information and have some type of control over your handwriting, okay? So this is what the professor said, and this is what the student said. Okay, so in that way, it is going to be like a little bit more organized. That's what I think. Okay, Sorani, when listening to those conversations, like what type of information should we pay attention to, right? I would say main idea, you know, the topic of the conversation or the lecture. Minor ideas, key points, reasons, examples. Those are going to be for sure questions, for sure, all right? Important terminology and phrases, different speakers' opinions. If there is an opinion there, that's going to be one of the questions. What was the opinion of this? And they are going to give you the options. Remember that in the listening section, everything is, you know, like multiple choice, so you're not going to have to type anything. Questions that the speakers ask and reactions, solutions or suggestions or decisions made. Okay, so this is like the, and let me tell you that these last slides, okay, they are not part of the official presentation. This is something that you know, that we added because based on our experience as TOEFL IBT facilitators. So this is what we have seen. Like most of the questions, yes, are based on these aspects. It is important to avoid full sentences. So you're going to use symbols and abbreviations. Remember those long sentences, that's not an option. Just, you know, symbols, abbreviations, just words. You can, you know, like brainstorm words and then organize all the information in a way that you understand what it is there. These are some, I mean, most of these symbols that you see here, they are universal, but all of us, we manage our own symbols. Yes or not? Yes, Sorani, thank you. Yes, so for example, the first one, this is and for me, that plus for me, this is and. Greater than, better than, smaller than, worse than, is, are. Look at this one. This is like the translation of these symbols for me, okay? But for you, you know, I mean, you're allowed to use all the possible symbols that you want to use. But again, the idea is not to, you know, to avoid all those full long sentences. Okay. Practice makes perfect. Okay, remember, practice and practice and practice. How can we practice how can we improve our listening skills, Sorani? Listen to conversations, listen to no more music in your car, okay, before taking TOEFL IBT, okay? No more music, just lectures, TOEFL IBT lectures, TOEFL IBT conversations, and you're gonna see how you educate your hearing. You're gonna see it, trust me, okay? So practice a lot. And when you're at home, not in your car, not while driving your car, please take notes, okay? That's important. Okay, I think you're ready with listening. That's all.
Okay, we have some questions from the audience. So let me see, I have them all written down. I think you already answered this, but it's good to review it. During the TOEFL test on the listening section, how many times can you listen to the audio?
Just once.
Just once, exactly.
Just once. And the other question could be, Margaret, do we get to see the questions before listening to the conversation? And the answer is no. Okay, you have to listen to the conversation or lecture, take notes, and then you're going to be able to see the questions.
Exactly. Very good. Another question is, you had mentioned that, I think you sent it yesterday, but that there was a course on edX, a TOEFL prep course on edX, and some people were wondering if you could send the link in the chat again.
Claro.
Or any other practice sets. So I sent the practice sets for listening and the practice sets for reading that are on the ETS website, but they were wondering if you had any more practice sets. And we also had some questions about the PDFs that you were sharing that had like the note-taking suggestions. Are those available on the website, or where can students find those types of resources?
They are available on the website. Yes, they are available there.
Okay. And another question is, does the TOEFL allow us to take notes on the computer or digital notes?
If you're going to take the exam at a TOEFL site, you're going to be able and allowed to take notes on using scratch paper.
Paper, no computer.
Yeah.
Right. And someone wants to know that if there are any sound effects in the audios, like rain, sounds of the city, trains, or is it mostly just the voices of the people that are talking?
Just voices. Yeah, the exam is not mean. No, like the train.
Okay, or in Costa Rica, we always get the
next to the airport.
Patafoneos, where they come in and they're announcing that they're selling eggs and plantains. So no, we don't have that.
No.
I'll answer this question. Someone asks, what grade on the TOEFL IBT do I need to apply to university in the United States? That will depend on the university you are applying to. So some community colleges normally ask for a minimum grade between 65 and 72, whereas four-year institutions normally ask between an 80 and a 90, and some very selective institutions could ask for a higher grade, like 100 out of 120. So you have to check each university that you are interested in. And how long, Sorani, do you recommend that they study for the TOEFL before they take it?
It depends. I think it partially depends on the candidate's level of English, Margaret. Because if they listen, if they consider they are a C2 already or a C1, take a TOEFL prep, 20 hours, just to familiarize with the types of questions, with being timed, with note taking, so you can, make sure that with your level of English and the knowledge you have, like on the mechanics of the exam, on the structure of the exam, that's going to give you the 120. Okay. Now, if you consider probably you're a B1, I mean, this is from my, like teaching perspective. If you're a B1 and let's say you need a 95, I would go for 6 months, 1 year.
Yes.
That's based on my experience, but this is not like, like the final and total truth. This is based on my experience. I would say B1, like 1 year, you can start preparing for the exam.
Okay. And so I know that there's a lot of practice sets on the ETS website, but do you happen to know of any resources that offer free practice tests that can estimate what score you would get on the section, or are those a little bit harder to find? I do know that, for example, if you take the online Magoosh course, which you do have to pay for, Magoosh will estimate what score you'll get on each section after you take the practice problems. So I have heard of this with paid courses, but I don't think that is available free, unfortunately.
No, we don't have anything like that available yet. We don't know in the future. We will keep you informed. Okay.
Sounds
but we
good.
but listen, chicos, listen, if you're paying for Magoosh, well, we have our TPOs, TOEFL practice online, the one that you're going to get one at the end of these sessions next week. And that's a great resource, and they are cheap. TPOs are, I think they are like around $45, $49, I think. So they are cheaper, right? They are cheaper. It is the same exam, the same TOEFL IBT. The only difference is that it is not the official exam, number one, that the speaking and the writing sections are scored by an e-rater, an electronic rater. But I have used TPOs like 3-4 times, and what you get, the score you get in a TPO is really close to what you will get in the official exam. So think about that, TPOs.
Okay, great. The final question for today is what happens if we fail just one section of the test? So technically there's no pass or fail with the TOEFL. You can get a score up to 30 points on each section. So if you do well on 3 sections and you do not so great on one section, hopefully you'll still get an intermediate score when you add them all together. And so thank you so much for being with us again, Sorani. Just wanted to remind everyone that we have more more sessions next week. And they're going to be on Wednesday and Thursday about speaking and listening at the same time in Zoom, on Facebook Live. The other thing I wanted to mention to you all, which I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, is that we also, if any of you are going to apply to a master's or PhD in the United States, a graduate degree, you may have heard of the GRE, which is a test that you have to take, a standardized test. And Sorani is also going to be helping us with a GRE preparation bootcamp free. This will be happening on Tuesday, June 21st, Wednesday, June 22nd, and Thursday, June 23rd. At this time, right now, at this time that we're ending this. So 1 hour later, a start than we have for the TOEFL sessions, okay? But more than anything, we do hope to see you next week, which is sooner than the 21st, and the rest of the TOEFL bootcamps. Thank you again, Sorani. We'll see you next Wednesday, and we hope that everyone has a wonderful week, and see you next week.
See you next week. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.